Good morning. We're going to attempt this. I have the dogs outside. I don't know how well they're going to behave. I have to be careful. Hank doesn't go over the fence. How are you this morning? I think I finally have the correct hair color combination. In the sunlight, it looks more yellow, but in this light, it looks more blonde. I don't know how much room I have on my phone. Life is all confuddled right now. Let me try to brighten this just a little bit. But I found a really good combination for my hair. See, when I do that, it looks really, really bright. I'm Kitryn Marie, reside in St. Louis, Missouri, artist, writer, speaker, life and business coach, teach a variety of art classes. Been dancing around my house all morning to the Wobble song. Don't know why. That's what's on my TikTok feed, and I'm just kind of going with it. Having to write a whole bunch of stuff down because all of a sudden now I can't remember things the way I want to remember. And I'm like, oh, I need to talk about that. Oh, I need to do that. Oh, I need to. And by the time I'm like, now what was I thinking? How was I going to do that? What was I going to talk about? Still looking for other jobs, marketing and community relations coordinator type jobs. Part-time. I've always worked part-time. I have always made life work, working part-time, looking for that $600, $800 a week income because I know it's out there. The jobs are there. You just have to know where to go to look for them, depending on your city, your community. And there's something about St. Louis. All these jobs that I am finding are in like North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, all the areas that I would move in if the opportunity would come about. It is about being more open-minded to the new working trends. And St. Louis, especially South St. Louis, is so stagnant, and they do not like to progress forward unless you want to work at like the correction center or if you want to do something for the police department. And right now, if anybody's following any of the St. Louis nonsense with the mayor filing a lawsuit against the state for the police trying to govern over the police, let the state have it because it is not safe here in St. Louis, Missouri. It is not safe at all. What did I see last night? Some individuals, a group of them in the Princeton Heights area, which is not too far from me. I'm like at the city-county line. So Princeton Heights is like the next neighborhood over. A lot of car break-ins. All of my customers, I lend my hand at a food and beverage establishment. A lot of my customers are from out of town. I always tell them, put the pen down. That's a waitress habit, always having a pen in your hand. I tell my customers, don't leave anything valuable in your car. This piece of hair is going to drive me crazy. I'm trying to let bangs grow out. Drives me nuts. Stay there. Don't leave anything valuable in your car. Put your keys away. Don't be on your phone. Watch your surroundings. Wear a cross bag. All those safety things. Always be aware of your surroundings. Always be aware of where you are in St. Louis because relatively you're not safe. Went to Ace Hardware yesterday in Lime, which I never do, but I wanted to do something different. I was looking for plants. I don't know if you can see them. They're behind me. I bought some tomato plants, pepper plants. I'll show you those in a minute. Which they were extremely expensive. Ace Hardware, do better. But anyway, coming down, I took the long roundabout way because I just wanted to drive, wanted to get out of my house, wanted to see something different. A route I have taken a million times. Heidelberg down with the backside of Weber Road, by the industrial, what is it, Stupp Brothers over there and some other manufacturer. There's a big field, usually the white peacock, which I have not seen in a long time. And then you cut over by the mechanic yard, where you go to, I can't even think, junkyard? No, it's not even a junkyard. Where you take your cars? Salvage yard? Anyway, go that way, down River de Pere, across the road tax, so on and so forth. I went that way just to, be driving around. I cannot tell you how many people cut in front of me, around me, went through red lights, Lime Ferry going in towards the county. What is going on with people? I said this morning, my tolerance of ignorance is I'm just up to here. Up to here. So, don't let me rule anything, because although I live by the seat of my pants and pretty nilly-willy most of the time, when it comes to your education and when it comes to your job, have structure, know the rules, play by the rules in order to get things done in our education system. Learn. Don't worry so much about how you personally feel about something. Pay attention to writing and reading and learning history and understanding how America kind of came to be. And I know right now, and then I will digress a little bit, I know a lot of people right now are up in arms about this whole draft thing. Mind you, I have a 25-year-old still at home. He does have Tourette's, and he has some other little things that never could be diagnosed, but he's a functioning adult. He has 2 jobs. He's a good kid, so on and so forth. So having a 25-year-old falls into that category. My oldest grandson is 17, and I know selective service, you have to sign up when you're 18 now or when you're a senior in high school. I understand all that. Let the president do his job. Whether you like him or not, whether, it hurts your feelings, whether you don't like what he says or how he does things, I promise you, you are not qualified to be in that position. And although he might be like a loose cannon, I like him for other reasons. I always say he's in the gentleman's club, and anybody who's been a bartender, worked in food and beverage, been on that other side of seeing how elites work, it's a different mindset, and most of us are not qualified to do what he is doing. So educate yourself a little bit on this new draft process. It's really no different than, I believe, the selective service when you have to sign up. And I have other things that I will say about that possibly at some other time, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, because I do kind of believe once you get into that military mindset, there is haphazard things that come along with it once you are out of that system. And I'll save that all for another day. But, let's talk about plants. And I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do today. I got myself together. Outfit of the day, nothing real fancy. Got my favorite jeans on. Yes, I've gained a little bit of weight because I'm not doing a damn thing and my back hurts so bad. It's crazy. Got my favorite Yellowstone shirt on. Got some leopard. Today would be a great day to go to Alton, to go over to Fast Eddie's and hang out over there, because there is nothing else going on in this world right now, and trying to stay out of my house, because if I clean it one more time, I'm going to go crazy. You should have seen me yesterday. And I can be very OCD when it comes to my floors, having white dogs, and there's nothing but mud. But plants. Let's talk plants. I bought 2 pepper plants. Can you hear me? I bought 2 pepper plants. I will be lucky if I get 2 peppers on each plant. There's something about pepper plants. Rarely do you get more than 2. So I thought, why not? And then I have some seeds that I planted that are on the front porch, seedlings. I'm waiting for them to come up. But, you know, I bought 3 tomato plants. I'm just wanting to get my hands in the dirt. I'll go buy more plants. And I did get all my seeds all planted. And I'm waiting to see if they're going to sprout. I think my zinnias are already coming up. And my sunchokes are coming up. And I hope I did the right thing because they are very invasive. But I want them to take over that back corner. But anyway, my tomato plants. Because I told you I made the best sauce last year, spaghetti sauce, with the tomatoes that I grew, and I had so many. But I bought 3 different varieties. This is Bush, Champion. Have no idea how big they'll get. I didn't care. It was just like I'm going to try all kinds of things. I got some Beefmaster because I know these are really good with BLTs. And they get really, really big. But really, $4 a plant. Ace Hardware. Do better. And then the other variety that I got, some Whopper tomatoes. And I was going to get some Romas because Romas are really good when you go to make sauce. But I was like, I'll just start with this. I'm, really watching money. The restaurant this week, I don't even want to talk about it. I want out. So anyway, it is cold here. It was 48 degrees this morning. Now, mind you, yesterday it got up to be 87. So, and it was raining, cats and dogs raining, which was so nice to hear it while I was sleeping. Put those over there. I'm going to put you on hold 1 second, check on my dogs. I'll be right back. Okay, brought them in. And they'll be like, hi, Nellie. Hi, Neil. Your ears are all wet. Don't let her chew on you. I don't know why you do that. Loli, where are you? Hello. Let's see one. Hi, Boozy. They're going to come in now. They've been hanging out with me back here in my back little studio room. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, my seedlings. I am waiting to see what's going to come up. Really want that back corner in my yard to be nothing but flowers. And it rained. That's what I was talking about. See, I digressed and forgot what I was talking about. It rained so much, so everything is very, very saturated. I think maybe the neighbor up the block is going to look at my lawnmower to see if he can get that going. I told the kids I want a lawnmower for Mother's Day. What else would I want, really? I want to get over to one of the antique malls and the thrift store. I want to do that. There's just so not a lot going on, and it's driving me absolutely insane. This week at the restaurant, it was so very hit and miss. So very hit and miss, and it's just very alarming. I had a couple, I had a couple guys that came in. One of them is somewhat of a regular. I don't have regulars like I used to have at some of the other places that I've worked. This is such a different type of entity in the food and beverage where I'm lending my hand. It's just different. And the one gentleman that came in, he happened to be the owner of CJ Mugs. So I got to pick his brain a little bit, because that's what I like to do with industry people. But as he was sitting there with the person who was sort of my regular, he said, "Where's all your people?" I said, "I don't know. You tell me. Where are all my people?" And the regular, he said, "You know who this is?" And I'm like, "No. Don't know who he is, no clue." He said, "Oh, this is the owner of CJ Mugs." CJ Mugs is a relatively young kids, younger generation who still like to, go out. And he said they are really, really suffering. Now, they closed the doors in Webster and he's in Clayton. He said they do a phenomenal lunch because of all the businesses there. Come here, Shug. Nellie. He said, but come nighttime, because nobody lives in downtown Clayton, everybody goes wherever. It's right at the I-70 mark, so people are living out or living in the city, so on and so forth. But anyway, he said, we will sit dead for the longest time, he said, and we stay open until 1 o'clock, between 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock. He said, it's the industry people that come out when everything else closes now by 8 and 9, because that's how the restaurant industry seems to work hour-wise. They're done by 8 or 9. He said then everybody floods into their bar and they're there forever. He said there is no rhyme. There is no reason right now. That younger generation, they don't go out. Everybody's trying to work. Everybody's trying to look for jobs. My one friend, she called me or texted me yesterday, and I just happened to be taking a nap because I deep cleaned so much yesterday, I wore myself out. She said, I haven't heard from you. What have you been doing? And I'm like, napping, working, cleaning my house, gardening, looking for a job, and just trying to survive, because the restaurant industry is not cutting it, being so much in pain with my back going out and everything else. I sent a text to the kid last night. I go, what is going on with me? I said, I am in such severe pain. And he said, well, Mom, look into some anti-inflammatories. Now, I don't do any kinds of, I'll take an ibuprofen here and there. And I do take a magnesium glycinate supplement and an NAD and an astaxanthin vitamin, because it all helps rejuvenate cells. And because I am aging, I still want to look my best. But anyway, he said, Mom, probably because of what you do and what you've done for a living, he said, I think probably arthritis has set into every single one of your bones. Well, last night, I felt it. Hence why I'm trying to get out of that industry. As far as like my art classes, how to put a vision board together, my painting classes, everything seems to be on hold because nobody has any money to try to enrich their life. We're looking at gas prices. People are trying to get to and from their job. They're trying to do what they need to do in their home, because we are returning, back to a stay-at-home culture, which I love. It's just I don't have enough to keep me busy in my house anymore. There's no reason to put another vision board together without teaching a class. There's no reason to start another painting class or painting project when I have 45 paintings downstairs that I used to, teach my classes. I thought about, do I want to do mosaics? I don't want to spend any more money on a craft that'll look pretty for a season and then I'll be bored looking at it. I don't. That's why I said, trying to get out of the house, trying to find something to do, trying to keep myself together, trying to keep my sanity. I want to go through all my fishing equipment. I want to look to see what I need. I want to get over to Bass Pro. Not that I want to buy anything, because there is no money to buy anything. But I felt like today I just really needed to come online and be present. And, how are you doing? How are you doing? What are you doing with your days off and your time? What are you doing saving money and how you're spending money? And if you are going out, what are you doing? And is it something that's bringing you long-term joy, or is it just an instant gratification? And if you're still stopping off at the same bar with the same 10 people, you are not growing. You are not evolving. You are repeating in a very poorly made pattern. You cannot grow if you stay in the same environment with the same 10 people. And I can't say that enough. If you have a time capsule, if you could go back in time, could you go home? I think about that all the time. One day this week, I don't know what day it was, Monday. It was beautiful here on Monday. It had rained on Sunday night. And I got up really early, like 4 o'clock in the morning. The dogs wanted to go out in the rain. And I stayed up as long as I could, and about 8:30 I laid back down on the couch, and I was looking out the window just staring at the clouds, and I was drifting. And I was going back to a time, being in high school, we lived on Marceline Terrace, and the same kind of position, laying on the couch, looking out the window, watching clouds. And I was reliving all of that. And it was like I could transpose myself back to that time. And I'm staring at the clouds, just really, really daydreaming. And I could hear my grandma in the kitchen piddling around. You know, she'd start cooking early in the morning to prepare for dinner at night. She'd be reading her paper. She'd be drinking her coffee. You know, maybe my Aunt Sarah would come down. They'd be doing loads of laundry, going up and down, you know, and I would hear them, you know, laughing or talking in the kitchen. And in that moment of the present moment, laying on the couch, looking out the window, it was the most peaceful feeling, tranquility that had come over me, because I am so far removed from that life. And as we have gotten to be adults, we want to get out of our house. We don't want to stay where we grew up. We don't want to be surrounded by the same people, because you grow, you evolve, you have a life of your own. You become the better version of what somebody else wanted you to do or to be. And me personally, because my family was always so loud, everybody talked at one time, and there was always a lot of commotion and everything. But just for the present moment, I was back being 16, 17, laying on the couch watching the clouds. But could you go home? If you had a time capsule, could you transpose yourself and go back to that time? And if you could go back to that time, would it give you that tranquility and that peace, or would it be a disruption to who you have become now? Think about it. Your time capsule. What is in your time capsule? Is it pictures? Is it letters? What memorabilia do you have? What is it in that time capsule that you do not want to remember? Because usually a time capsule is something that is of another time, another era. You hear my crazy dog in there. Everybody else has been walking their dogs, and I can't walk mine. But could you go home if you could? Would you go back to that time in your life? Think about it. I'm not staying on here real long. I'm going to go make another pot of coffee, probably do another load of laundry, make myself leave the house today. Nellie, come here. I'm going to make myself do something, but today would be a great day to be driving around, going to look at things. Hi, Boozy. Hi. Today'd be a great day to go to Alton. So, think about that time capsule. Think about, could you go home? Think about what you're going to do today. Think about what you did all week. Were you the problem, or were you the solution? But I'm Kitryn Marie, an artist, writer, speaker, life and a business coach. Teach a variety of art and communication classes, reside in St. Louis, Missouri. Got my bougie girl right here. Remember, fate turns on a dime, and it is up to you to decide what side of that coin you want to be on. If you're interested in a vision board class and a painting class, reach out, kitrynmarie@gmail.com. Fingers crossed on the whole job market thing, because the jobs are out there. You just have to know where to look. But I tell you what, I want out of St. Louis, and I want out of St. Louis bad. But y'all take care, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.